two things I want to share then. One is what's it like to be in a class, and I have both these guys in my classes right now. I'm really into collegiality, group projects, take-home midterms, take-home finals. Rote memory ain't going to take you anywhere in life. You know, it's more experiential and being able to analyze a problem and try to come up with that solution. So I'm the easiest grader in the world. I don't think I am. Because what I think is important is what you walk away with, not what did you memorize that you're not going to remember a week from now. So that's my in class, guys. Is that fair to say that's the way we do things?
Yes.
You know, and you know, and then the second thing is, how do I get a job? What percent of people hate going to work on a Monday morning? Give me a number. Go.
Yes.
How much?
How much?
Oh, yeah, what percentage of people hate going to work on a Monday morning?
It's got to be at least 85.
It's about, it's just over 80. So, okay, go 80. Well, wait a minute. I only go to work for 7-8 hours. By the way, the new world is 24/7. Oh, I was going to say it's my picture of my daughter's marriage. 24/7, so I don't even get away from it after 8 hours. So that means 80% of the people go to work for 8 hours or more, but I have all the other time. I get to come home, I have dinner, I watch a little TV, I have vacation time, I have weekends. So that's not too bad, is it? It's about 40-45% of our time. That's not too bad. That means 45% of the time I have a pretty good life. But 50% of the time, I hate what I do. How many years do I work? 40 plus, and probably even more because I'm living longer. We don't retire when we're 60, 65 any longer. Average age is now over 80 years old that we live. We have to work just to have enough finances to be able to do it. I think those numbers are unacceptable, personally. If we can't find what is going to make you happy, by your own definition, making money, having a great family, having time, so on and so on, then we failed in education, didn't we? Again, you got to remember, I'm not a teacher. I'm a business person. I spent 35 plus years in business. This is my sort of my third career, because advertising agency, client side, and now this, and I look at this as sort of service. It's how can I give back? How can I do? I didn't have anybody when I grew up. When I say that, I had great parents, but my father had a stroke my senior year of high school. So I didn't have somebody advising me or helping me, or like what to do and how do you do it. I enjoy more than anything else mentoring. Just talking to students. What do you like? What do you want to do? What do you think you're good at? So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect that we're very fortunate, and this we can brag about, because Wazi and I have been here a while now, we have developed over the last 8-9 years a plethora, big word, right? A lot of alum out there, as Wazi was talking about, who we literally can call up and do one-on-ones. You had a one-on-one, right? With a couple of different students I introduced, or alums I introduced you to. We have them back for events. We have them as guest speakers in our classes. And then when I find out what we want to do I want to go into finance? Do I want to go into marketing? Do I want to go into accounting? I can set them up with a one-on-one call. Does it end up with an internship? Maybe. But more important, it's guidance. How did you do what you do? How did you get to JP Morgan? How did you work at Vizio Media? Well, I did this internship. How do you get the internship? Well, I did this. I networked. How do you network? You can hear from me, but I'm old. You want to hear from somebody who's 24 years old, 25 years old, who are doing it right now. And that, I think, is our magic sauce to make a difference. And when I say our magic sauce, it's where I can honestly look you all in the face, in the eyes, and say, we can deliver. I can't, but I can deliver my alums. Go, please.
What's like the standard day in your class? Like, would it be more like lecture based, or we have like assignments and projects?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the drawbacks we have. See, I tell you good news and bad news. The drawbacks we have of our classes are 3 hours. The reason we do that is that you can take your classes on a couple of days during the week, and it gives you opportunity to then either work, a lot of us work, in regular jobs, and then secondly, to do internships. 3-hour blocks are hard, I think, from a teaching perspective. What we try to do, or I try to do, and guys call me a liar if I am, is try to set up some type of lecture to share some information, okay? Like in economics is what we have right now. But when I share that information, it's going to be a combination of maybe a recap PowerPoint from the book. It'll be actual examples from the Wall Street Journal of what's happening with the Federal Reserve and why they're raising or lowering rates. Maybe we look at a piece of film, 4 or 5 minutes long. So that's one part of it. Maybe a case study. The other thing that we've done in my classes, and I just do it in all my classes, is we have a term-long or semester-long project. In the econ, my macro econ class, we studied the American economy. But the key with economics is it's related to politics, okay? Because we're a democracy, and we're free markets, if you will, and we get into monopolistic competition, yada, yada, yada. It influences what that looks like. Well, let's take another country. So they broke into teams of 4 or 5 people, and they chose a country, France, Venezuela, which is interesting because they had a lot of problems because they relied too much on socialism and oil and so on. So they are responsible for taking a look at that country and presenting, and they're presenting this next week. This Monday and Wednesday, we're finishing up. They're going to present their case study on the country they analyzed. Going full circle, every single class, they met as a team then at the end of class for about a half hour to an hour and worked on the team project. So the class is broken up into quasi-lecture, really sharing of information, getting into some type of case studies or current events, and then they worked on their projects. Because otherwise 3 hours is a long time, right? So that would be a normal class that we would have. And again, what I love about this, I'm looking forward to this week is, what country do you guys have?
Germany.
Germany. Let's take a look at the German politics, how the political structure influences the economy, and then let's look at the results. Has the economy grown? Do they have inflation? Do they have unemployment? So we all are going to learn about Germany, but the thing that we're going to learn about too is the political structure and how much it influences the economy. That's what I think is exciting. Make sense? So then we keep it interesting, and guess what? We're going to walk out of there with 5 different countries or 6 different countries, and we'll have a better understanding of how they work politically and how they work economically. Questions? Questions? Go.
Would you say most of the classes have like an international or multinational focus, like the project you're talking about?
That's a really good question. Economics, yes. Macro and micro I teach. I also teach ethics. And now you say that, now I'm going to say, how can these guys next term in ethics, how do we get a little bit more of a flavor international? Because that's what you're sort of saying, boy, that'd be nice. I would say yes because, and this is a funny statement, we're a global world. It's a little redundant, I know, but we're a global society, so yes, you have to be. By the way, we're very proud we made the president's role or the president's award with the NCAA. Our average grades for our student athletes is 92. We have a new president, President Parrish, who came in. I was speaking with her, and she said, boy, you or Matt, you or our AD, have done one heck of a job. We're Divi 2. We made the Final Four. We won our divisions in, we have softball, baseball, volleyball, lacrosse, soccer. We consistently win our division in the ECC. And it's fun to go, watch them play, especially on a beautiful fall day, to go sit out there and that kind of thing. That's a little bit of campus life that I want to tell you about.
I have a question.
Sure.
So so there's a student who hasn't been recruited, however, he has an interest in playing basketball, right?
Yep.
However, let's say scenario is he was accepted into the honors program, right, to study accounting. How does that how does that work for a student understanding the demands on the particular program, honors, right? And also being an
An athlete.
So combining the student and the athlete.
Well, first of all, it's an excellent thing to look at. In this school specifically, I can speak of, our coaches are fully aware and they promote education. But I think it's an asset, to be able to do both. And I think you manage your time better if you know you have both, as opposed to, like I say, sometimes we can become complacent. Yeah.
There's also, in your programs, you have built-in study time that's mandatory for
Absolutely,
the
yes.
athletes.
Mandatory study time, and get to know your professors, by the way. Especially, I know from this school, because I did teach at one other school. I taught at FIT in New York, Fashion Institute, which was pretty interesting. But teachers, the professors here are all very much like myself and Wazi. We're not here as professional teachers that went through the whole process of, being a doctor, PhD, and so on and so on. We're business people who, we sort of have fun. We like talking about business. We like talking about the economy. We like talking about business ethics. By the way, one other thing I want to mention to you about career pathing and how to get there. Internships are really important. You'll hear us talk like, gotta get an internship. Wazi's talking about 5 or 6. Don't let that intimidate you. That's way over the top. If you can get it, fantastic, but don't feel like, oh my God, I didn't get my 5 internships, therefore.
If you guys have questions for either me or Aiden, we're actually in the sophomore class. Yeah. Wazi earlier was talking about making connections and the alumni network. So me personally, I'm in connection with an investment banking associate at JP Morgan, Jack Bott.
Oh, Jack's excellent.
Yeah, so he actually helped me. He referred me to the fellowship at JP Morgan, which hopefully I'll get for this summer. And then if I do well there, I get the return offer for the summer of 2026. And I know there's another one, a wealth management associate, Kaylee Organista. She's helping me potentially get Goldman Sachs for 2026. So we have alumni that work at great places where you're doing finance, accounting, marketing. My aspirations lie in investment banking, but we have in finance, there's wealth management, asset management, corporate banking. So it's just about making sure you actually make that first step to talk to the professors who know these people, or connecting with them on LinkedIn. So that's why, if it wasn't for this program, I'd be at another school. I think I'd be doing well, but I wouldn't really be thinking about internships until my sophomore, junior year. But by then, it's sort of too late. You need the corporate experience, or like the practical experience of working a real job, and that really helps you land those nice jobs after college or even during college. Having that base, the good foundation, is what sets you apart from other applicants who may go to a name brand school but lack the practical experience and the corporate knowledge to actually make an impact at the company.
Guess what? Over the last 10 years, we built up a damn good database of our alums, and they're working at top firms. I'm amazed at where we're at. We have a reputation out there. Our students, I shouldn't say we are lunch pail tough grinders. We don't whine, we don't complain, when we're hardworking and we're smart kids. They come in well educated from the real world, if you will, and they want to keep hiring us. I don't know if Wazi mentioned about our accounting program. It's one of the top 5 in the country. Little Mercy College. It's one of the top 5. It was ranked by accounting firms as one of the top 5 in the country.
To, speak more about the classes, Wazi mentioned we take 6 business, I think it's actually 7 business classes our first year. So me being a sophomore, I've already taken all of them. It really helps you. My first internship was an accounting and finance internship at Zwilling J. Henkel's, an international cutlery company. And I remember my first week there, having taken financial accounting really helped me. I knew balance sheets, income statements, I knew what they looked like, and I was comfortable enough where I could make an impact. Whereas, once again, with another school, you're not taking that first business class till your junior, sophomore year, but by then, you've missed those 2 years where you could be exploring what you like and actually adding to your resume. I see the resumes of some friends that go to other schools, and they're blank. Besides their education, maybe they've done a part-time job somewhere here or there, but in terms of corporate experience, they're just lacking. And
that's when we have the edge. And being in business honors, it's like a friendly competition. You see someone get an internship, motivates you to go out on LinkedIn, go out networking, and get your own internship. And I know in our year, we look to the year above us, especially the accounting students. We have, the accounting kids have internships at PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, EY, and they help us apply to those internships, give us the tips and skills to get those internships. So I think it's a very family-oriented environment with the spark of competitiveness that keeps us on edge, always wanting more.
Go.
When you're in the business honors program, can you take a minor that's not business related?
I would think, guys, yeah, but I know some take like computer science or
It
CPS,
depends
yeah.
on what you major in. So if you're trying to go for your CPA, which would be public accounting, then I don't think you have enough space to actually take a minor unless you take.
Accounting is very regimented, yeah.
But if you do marketing or finance, you do have more leeway. So the question is whether you, well, I'm just probably going to push you guys to pair finance and marketing with data analytics because they go very well together. So if you do those two, then I think you can squeeze in a minor if you prioritize your classes right and get everything underway. But if you just do finance or marketing, then you can definitely do minors.
If I'm gonna send somebody down to Wall Street and all you've done is taken English lit, math, math is always good no matter what, geography or whatever your gen ed classes are, they're gonna want you to work for them. And if you don't know what a balance sheet is, if you don't know anything about accounting or finance, they won't get internships. And what he recognized was internships are what's gonna get you a career job.
So, kind of off of her question, so usually sometimes you will hear them say, students come in and they're not sure, because you have
Yep.
accounting, you have finance and marketing.
Yep.
And you're not necessarily sure which way they wanna go. I love the cohort, because my son, he's in IB program,
Mhm.
and that cohort, I think, is good for him.
Yep.
So how does that help them to kind of see where they wanna go?
Well, the classes that you're exposed to in your first year or two are going to be mandatory for all in the School of Business. So microeconomics with WASI, macroeconomics with me, you're gonna have an exposure to it. You're gonna take a marketing 220, which is intro into marketing. You're gonna have an accounting, or what do you guys have in accounting the first?
Financial first semester and managerial second.
Yeah, so you're gonna have, those are bases you're gonna take no matter what you are. If I'm a marketing major, I'm still gonna have to take that. So now I go, wow, that managerial was pretty cool. I was figuring out variable cost versus fixed cost, and when do I do this, when do I do that? I'd like to maybe consider being an accounting major.
It's also very well-rounded. Back to the internship part, putting down your resume, developing coursework, just employers see that you have experience in different areas of business, whether it be finance, accounting, marketing, data, and that's very powerful because other students may be concentrated in marketing, but when it comes time to analyze a product line, they're lost, So these classes are also taught by professors that have experience. I know for financial accounting, we had Professor Cohen. He has decades of experience at PepsiCo where he led a bunch of teams and he brings that experience to the classroom. He talks about Pepsi. Sometimes when we have a class, he'll relate what we're learning about, let's say, income statements or profitability and talk about how we use that in Pepsi. Right now I'm taking an Excel course with him. It's Excel for management. And he always brings up the tips and tricks that he used at Pepsi to help him save time and create meaningful presentations that investors and C-suite executives will like.
It's not about rote memory. It's about now using everything you learned the last 4 years here in a case study. And I've actually had some of my students go on interviews and they said, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe it. They asked me, what did I do in my class? And I told them about this case study and I talked all about Tesla and how they weren't prepared for new products. They lost market share because the EV market was exploding in other major manufacturers. And our recommendation, they're talking business during the interview now. Now they're not talking about, oh, what did you do when you were in college? What's your favorite such and such? No, I want to hire somebody who's going to really make an impact on my business. So the case studies are something to talk about on an interview.
If
think the difference is the internship and things, that's what we say. It's not just going to college, it's also like.
Using it. And that's what I say to, it's internships, but it's, if I can't get an internship, then, you know, I'm gonna get a good job at, I have kids who want to be sports, student athletes who want to be into sports marketing. Well, go get a job at Dick's. That's where you're gonna learn about sports. That's who Nike's gonna hire, somebody who understands where they sell their product. That ain't that hard to get. So there's different avenues is what I'm suggesting to us. It's not just that, you know, go get these great internships at you know, Morgan Stanley or at Nike. But college is expensive, there's no two ways about it. But if we use it, it's worth it. If we just run up debt and we don't do much with it, you're just gonna have debt.
Do you guys do like mock, like examples of it, like you know how we have mock trials and like, for example, like jury,
Love it.
yeah, would you guys do something like that but for economics and microeconomics?
I'm almost like giving her, like she's setting me up so much. When I did this last year, and these guys are gonna have it, when I was in high school and college, I was on the debate team. And I realized, oh my gosh, why don't we include, all my classes we present at the end of the term, so I added debate to my ethics class. I went to ChatGPT, by the way, use as many tools out there, ChatGPT, Google, I mean, you have all this information out there. I went there and said, give me 20 controversial business ethics issues. You know, gender, you know, women's pay versus men's pay, yada yada, you know. And I took those issues and they broke them into teams of two, affirmative and negative. The affirmative took the issue and researched how they felt about women's pay or whatever it may be, the subject, you know, product liability. The negative knew the subject too, and then every single week we debated it. So the affirmative would come up and say, here's why we believe women are behind or not being paid enough or this or that, or probably, and the negative would respond to it, and so we had a debate every single class. Again, take my 3 hours, that was a great way to spend, and we did research on each one of those topics, so yes. And that was a new thing that I sort of stumbled upon in this last year. I'm always trying to find something new, ways to learn. Does that make sense? Because I'm not an educator, I'm a business person, you know. I know. What else? We have a nice campus in Manhattan, by the way, pretty cool, go down there. You don't like our Manhattan campus?
And I pass by it like every Friday, so it's like,
Yeah, you have to go in there because they really renovate, it's pretty cool inside, I think. We have a great campus on the Bronx, in the Bronx. I love that campus too. But our business honors is out of here. Because this is our mother campus. You know, this is our base brand, base campus. Anything else, anything else? Was this informative?
No.
Was it good?
Yes.
Yeah. But be excited. Man, you got everything in front of you. Everything in front of you, yes ma'am.
I appreciated the fact that you said to start at the bottom. Because, you know, sometimes when you're at that level, you don't feel that it matters, or, you know, you look at it, you know, in a bubble of where you are, it doesn't affect what the knowledge that you have about where you are. But I like the fact that you say start there, so you understand how the business really works. And
Yeah.
you could, you know, you never know the contribution you can make.
Yeah, you know, absolutely, and you know, you may have, us parents, we've heard the phrase about the ivory tower, and they think they know all the answers and everything else. Boy, when I spent a lot of time in the restaurant business, on the agency side, and then as a chief marketing officer. I learned more from being out in the marketplace and working with franchisees who ran their restaurants, and I learned more about business from those people. Jim Speed comes to mind, back when I worked in the Arby's business. He's a franchisee. He had about 20 units in Fort Wayne, and he also out in Kansas. Just a great man, but I learned about business from him and how you run that little Arby's, but now you have 6,000 of those to run, right? So I couldn't agree more with you. That's where you really get the fundamentals, but so many people wanna be up in the high office and the big, you know, the big titles. Thank you. Thanks, guys. And I know we gave you a lot and everything, you can always go on Mercy's website, and if you look up faculty, you'll see my picture with my name, my email's there on my phone. Text me, you know, if you wanna come to one of my classes, whatever. But, you're doing the right thing, is you're getting out there, getting the right vibe, where you wanna be, and how you're gonna be successful, how you define success, by the way. That's the key, how you define success. I happen to like making a lot of money, but I also love my job too, right? So it's gotta be a combo.